So, okay, I thought that was an effect that was on the game. No, that's actually... Okay, one sec. I mean, I do have my cleaning solution. I should probably just use that. No, it really does smell like one part of this cartridge is burned or has smoke damage. That's really strange. Oh, fuck, this might actually need a proper cleaning. Oh, let's see. Let's start and see what happens. Or not. Okay, one last try. If it doesn't work this time, I'm going to actually have to... properly do a cleaning on it, which means we'll have to take a couple minutes, but we'll do a Q&A during that at least, so that I can go over the couple stories I said during the break I was going to go over. I think I have my cleaning solution in here. I saw it. Oh yeah, no, it's right in front of the TV, just off to the side so it's not in the way. Alright, come on baby, let's play some Shatterhand. That's a green screen. That's not Shatterhand. That's a white screen. Or gray. Come on, rainbow. Papa needs a new blue. That's black. Man, we're hitting the whole rainbow today, apparently. Back to green. Alright, fuck it. I'll clean the cart, and we'll do a short Q&A. But you gotta give me a sec to go actually grab some Q-tips, so I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Let's just pop back to intermission, because now I gotta clean the cart, and that's gonna take a minute. So, I guess while we're doing this, let's go over some questions. The question that I said Amber to remind me about, maybe I should go over that. So the question I got during break was... more or less... Okay, no, she's got the full copy-paste. Cool. And so does Lord. A lot of you guys do. John, why is Chugga such a horrible person who goes out of his way to make sure you lose if he can't win? Okay. So, as... For you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, we're talking about the Runaway Guys. So that's the secondary channel I'm on. I assume the vast majority of you are aware of that channel with me. Basically, it's myself, Nintendo Capri Sun, and Chugga Conroy, all three LPers. If you're not aware of that, for like I assume like 3 people who aren't. But basically, Chugga and I have a, I want to say friendly rivalry, but sometimes it gets a little heated on both sides. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit, I want to say moody at times about it, but I'll just say a bit animated about my emotions at times. That kind of makes me come off as a horrendous asshole on TRG videos. In fact, I think there's at least one point in the new board that's getting posted now that will make me look like a horrendous asshole, because I think I just flat out scream at Emil about something. But that's not even remotely dealing with a bit butthurt. No, I'm not bipolar. No, God, no. I'm just... I guess I'll give you guys a story about myself. When I was a kid, growing up, I was super, I guess, let's say emotional. I cried a lot as a kid, which, of course, led to the reason I would have gotten bullied a bit as a kid. But then again, that also has to do with the fact I look like a huge fucking nerd. That was probably more so the deciding factor, really, than the crying a lot. I don't know. I just had a hard time as a kid kind of keeping my emotions in check. Like, if I got angry, I got super angry. If I was, like, sad, I was super sad. It's not really a case of being bipolar. It's just a case of just, like, super big... Yeah, I got salty a lot. That's the best way to put it. I was super salty all the time. But, when I was in high school, I had what I will call, like, I call them adoptive grandparents. I called them Cobb and Diddy. They were probably the nicest people. They were like neighbors to me when I was a baby. They used to babysit me when I was super young. So I made a habit of going over to their house like every Tuesday and every Friday. Had dinner with them and like always hung out with them. They treated me like their own kid. So I loved hanging around them. They're great people. So at the time I was also super involved in my church. I did the soundboard for my church. So I did all the mic setups. I did all the sound audio leveling. So I'm well versed in using soundboards and that. Now, one night at church, we go, and Cobb is like standing up trying to give a testimony about something. As a case, because they were asking for like testimony, they're like just like, okay, let's say something about praising the Lord or something like that. And he tried a couple times to stand up and say something, but like other people kept jumping in, so he's like, okay, I'll just go off to the washroom for a bit. So he goes off to the washroom, and then he doesn't come back. Now, we're all wondering, it seems like he's been gone for a long time. Even the pastor's making a comment that they were expecting him to have come back. And it's like, well, someone should go check on him. So someone goes to check, and then someone goes to get his wife. And they both go to the bathroom, and the usher starts going to the bathroom. And as a result, I run to the bathroom, and so does my mom. And it ends up he had a heart attack in the church bathroom, of all places. So he got rushed to the hospital. But of course, we live half an hour away from the nearest hospital, so they gave him to the nearest clinic that we could get to. So, of course, I follow along, and so does my mom. Diddy, which I call her real name was Melita, we followed her as well. And found out by the time we got there, he had passed away. So it was not really a good night, let's say like that. And for the record, no, he did not die like Elvis. He was like washing his hands, I believe, at the time. So I took it super hard. Because, like I said, I basically treated him like a grandfather. So that was actually probably the last day I can remember crying for a very, very long time. I think I got, like, everything out of my system. And then after that point, I started, like, bottling up my emotions a bit. And oddly enough, this is also kind of the point where I got a little bit more laid back in my personality a bit. Because this was probably 3 months before I left for university. So it was... So it hit me really hard, obviously. And I found from that point on, like, I found it super hard to be, like, emotional or cry or anything like that. Like, even, like, trying to get, like, my eyes wet to, like, tear up a bit, to, like, make sure my eyes stay dry. It's hard to do. I think it just kind of came out all at once. Now, I've had other, like, there's been a couple deaths in the family since where, like, I have not been able to cry because of it, and it's been really strange. But I found that as a result, like, through university, I bottled up my emotions a lot, and never really let anything out. And my only real out for, like, a lot of my anger in that, I found was through video games. So that's... One of the reasons that I play super challenging games now is because it kind of gets me pissed off. And doing that helps me get it, like, everything out of my system at once. But now, to bring this back to Chugga, the problem is, A, we're playing competitive games, so I start naturally getting frustrated or angry because my emotions are starting to come out, because that's my release. My release from my emotions and what keeps me like, de-stressed is gaming. So, having to deal with Chugga, who can be, let's be nice and say he can be erratic. It's a bit difficult, to say the least. So when I tend to snap a lot in TRG videos, it's kind of going back to that in a way, how it's just like my release of like all my emotions and anger comes out in the gaming. And then just getting it would seem like I shouldn't be super upset at him. I come off as super upset because of just kind of everything coming out at once. With, I guess, the exception of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which was when he gave me a black eye, or almost did. So that was just kind of accelerated anger at that point. But a lot of the times you hear me snap, like, super loud at that, that's why. Is because I just kind of get angry and kind of release everything at once. So otherwise, I'm usually like a more laid-back guy, and that's the kind of the guy you usually see on like my videos, is the goofball. But in TRG, when you hear me like snapping or anger, that's kind of just all that coming out at once. So I guess that's that. As for the way that Chug has been acting in TRG, because I've noticed a lot of people in the comments have basically been saying that, dear ProtonJon, your attitude would get you instantly permabanned from League of Legends. Well, it's a good thing I don't play League. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought there, sorry. Going back, a lot of people have been saying in the comments of Mario Party 3 that Chug has been kind of coming off as a dick. And I can understand why they feel that way, because there are two Chuggas, essentially. This is the way I'll put it. There are two Chugga Conroys. There's the Chugga Conroy you deal with when there's only like one person in the room, or he's by himself. So the person you see on a solo channel. Then there's the Chugga Conroy you see when there's multiple people in the room. That's the Chugga you usually see in the Runaway Guys. And it doesn't really help, I guess, that he's really only got two choices to kind of get his energy out. One is me, and the other is Tim. And Tim is still kind of shy around us, which is weird for having a channel for like 2+ years that he's still shy. So Emil, as a result, doesn't really kind of put too much energy towards Tim. In fact, this is probably where it comes off like him seeming like he's babying Tim a lot. He kind of just ignores him, or is like, oh, you should do this, Tim, or like, oh, good job, Tim. And I'm not going to say I'm immune from that either. I do that from time to time. I'll discuss like, hey, Tim, here are your options. Here's what I think. And some people that nail down like, hey, anytime there's a point where Tim has to make a pivotal key decision, one of us will make the choice, or like say what hinders the other person, and like Tim will just decide on whatever. But I get the brunt of Emil's energy, I guess, because well, I mean, A, we're friends, and B, we just kind of talk a lot. So like when we do chat a lot on Skype and stuff like that, so we have a good repertoire. But he does purposely try to push buttons, especially when he's kind of more hyperactive during TRG. So that's kind of why it seems like he's a dick. As for focusing on me a lot in Mario Party, there are points where I notice that, and there are points where people are pointing out that he's doing that I didn't notice. For a good example, a lot of people pointed out that that point where he used his Boo Bell in the last board to steal from me when it didn't make sense, and I just like screamed out, what? Because I was like, why are you doing this? It ends up there actually was some sort of logic to it. He did do it to make sure I didn't use my magic lamp, and I didn't realize that at the time because I thought he was making a stupid move, and so did a lot of the chat. But no, he was actually making a sensible move. But I don't know. It's not going to get better, I think, is the best way to put it. If Emil's mentality bugs you now at this point, it's probably not going to change. We did the last two boards of Mario Party, and then we did all the dual boards of Mario Party 3, and I don't remember how he was in that. Like, I remember a lot of pissed off moments between like the battle boards for Mario Party 3, but I don't remember really that much piss off point during the dual mode, so I don't know how that's going to be. We've done our next tournament, but we haven't done our next major project yet. So there's going to be a lot of filler after this. Some of the filler, he's probably going to piss you people off. I'm not going to lie. There's at least 2 games we did that he got super pissy in during the recording that he might end up editing some stuff out, and it's probably in his best interest to do that. But, yeah, I don't know how it would be if we had a 4th member, too. Like, usually when there's a 4th member, we can, like, not ignore Emil. We can, he has to split his focus between multiple people, then it's not as bad. But then, like, sometimes in Castle Crashers, it may come off as a bit of a brat, which I know a lot of people in the comments complained about, but it's more subdued, I guess. I don't know. I will just say he's aware of the complaints, and he's trying to work on it, But the funny thing is, he said he was aware of the complaints and working on it for Castle Crashers and Mario Party 3, and that's when he's actually gotten the most complaints so far. So him trying to actually make things better for the audience is actually somehow making it worse. So I don't know really what to tell you guys. If you're complaining about Chugga from at this point, it might not get better. He's gonna try, but I don't know what to tell you. All right, I think that might have been long enough. Also, I'm not sure if I actually properly answered the question or kind of went everywhere. I was not actually expecting to tell the story about Cobb and Diddy tonight. I was kind of surprised that happened. But, yeah. All right, let's see. Perfect. We waited long enough. Shatterhand's working. Sorry tonight suddenly got serious, but let's go back to video games. All right, Pat, give me a sec. I'll add you in.